Hi, welcome back to Mix Minus Recap Star Trek: Lower Decks. I'm Daniel Brewer.
And I'm Adam Burns.
And tonight we're going to talk about episode 5, titled Cupid's Errant Arrow. That is a hard title to say. You try
Say it 5 times fast, Daniel.
No, just try it one time. Just try it one time. It's very difficult to say.
Cupid's Errant Arrow.
It is, yeah. So we had a little snafu on the channel last week. Apologize to that for those of you who had to suffer through it. But we
fuck Anchor. Oh, sorry.
wrong people. No, we had a copyright claim against us by CBS. And
Strike one.
No, it wasn't an actual strike. It was a claim. It just meant that they could delete our video or take it down. We didn't suffer any other ramifications other than that. But it annoyed me from the standpoint of, we're providing commentary on their work, and that is absolutely a fair use of copyright. And it just seemed weird that they would choose to do it. And so, you know what? Never mind. No clips tonight.
If only we had a Mix Minus attorney, we could
less work for it. And there's no appeal to it. So it's just kind of like one of those, like they just told you, oh yeah, well, your video is taken down, after most people had watched it already. So anyway, so the version that's up there now has no clips in it. So we'll just go forward with no clips tonight. Adam, what did you think, just general overall views of episode 5?
I thought this one was cute, and I think Mariner totally has the hots for Boimler.
Well,
I mean, that's basically what I'm getting.
Well, did she, or was it the parasite? Because it did a thing where it made him chemically think. But let's talk about the episode a little bit in detail here.
Okay.
There were 3 distinct plots going on in this particular episode. We had in any other Star Trek would have been the main plot, which is there was this dissolving moon crashing into a planet, and they were there to implode the moon and get it out, and yet the natives were having a big diplomatic crisis over getting rid of the moon because it affected so many different of the inhabitants in different ways. And so Starfleet had to do this big diplomatic peace negotiation thing of like hashing out how they were going to get rid of the moon. So in any other Star Trek episode, any other Star Trek series that we would watch, this would be the main plot. But in this particular episode, that was just kind of going on in the background. It's like occasionally we'd see the captain screaming at people through a window or whatever. It's like we weren't concerned with that plot. We were concerned with the B and C plots, or the other 2 plots. One of them being Boimler's girlfriend, which was a lieutenant on another starship, the Starship Vancouver. And the other plot dealt with Tendi and Rutherford falling in love with the Vancouver starship because it was state of the art, and they both were geeking out over the technical advancements over there. So those are the kind of the plots on that.
I have some so those aliens, first of all, they were blue.
Yeah.
And one of them was red.
One of them was red, yes. And he turned out to be the jerk, yeah.
It reminded me, not at all, it's not the same at all, but for some reason, what comes to my mind is the Next Generation episode where they're transporting these fish people.
Yeah.
And I want to say they're like in tanks or something.
No. They were hibernating or whatever. And this was like one of the first season shows. Yeah. And they had like a vat of fish that they like fed off of, or some kind of kelp or something that they fed off of that when they awoke from hibernation and whatnot. Yes.
I mean, you could probably say, and the reason is because there was another race that was on there.
Yes,
and they were enemies or something. They hated each other.
Here's the most amazing thing about that Star Trek episode. Did you know that one of the people that was dressed up like a fish was the guy from Fleetwood Mac? What's his name?
No.
Mick Fleetwood or whatever.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was actually a famous person that was dressed up that way.
And that was, oh my gosh, I know this is not a Next Generation recap, but that wasn't the one where there was this little girl who fell in love with Wesley, but her nanny turned into this big giant bear thing.
No.
Do you remember?
Anyway, I think you dreamed that one. I don't know what that one is.
No, there really is. No, Wesley and this girl, this princess or something. No, I'm so serious. She's like a princess, or she's like traveling to her country to become the leader. And she has a nanny, this really overprotective older woman nanny. And the nanny is like some kind of morphing creature. Alien.
I don't recall this one. Anyway, I'll have to go back and find this one.
So anyway, but they're fighting. Yes, they're fighting. And I feel like on a normal Star Trek, this would have been like one of those things where Picard would have, done his, speech writers beforehand, and they would have had all that, had him to a dinner and like had all this hullabaloo around it and everything. And this one, they were like, the Starfleet officers just went in and they were like, listen here, we're going to blow up your moon, so get over it.
Well, no, I feel like there was a lot of negotiation happening. We just didn't see it on camera, right? Those are the things that happened and whatnot. I found it, I don't know if it was a vague nod or if I'm just reading everything, into the epidemic situation that we find ourselves in now, but there was one set of the natives that didn't believe that the moon was exploding, that was a hoax. That was one that I found interesting. I also found it interesting
they should have been wearing MAGA caps.
I found it interesting that it turns out that the one red alien was just some rich guy that wanted to save his own house, right? It was just like,
we just redecorated.
Yeah. Anyway, so the other two plots, I think so the main one, the one that stretched most of the time, was Boimler and his girlfriend. And it turns out that, he has this gorgeous girlfriend that he met at some conference, and she's on the Vancouver, and Beckett just can't believe that this girl is head over heels for Boimler, right? So she's trying to decide, whether she's a shapeshifter or some kind of replicant.
Beckett or Mariner?
Mariner, did I say? Well, Beckett
you
Mariner.
Beckett.
Her name is Beckett Mariner.
Oh, right. Okay. I'm bad with names.
But now I forgot what. So she's suspicious of this new girlfriend, is doing all these kind of stealth tricorder readings and whatnot throughout the episode. And it turns out at the very end that there was a parasite involved that was making people act weirdly, but it was one that had attached itself to Boimler. So it was, once you remove this parasite procreated by making its host chemically irresistible to its chosen mate. So it's like, that's why this woman was so in love with Boimler, was because he was giving off these pheromones and that this alien parasite was sending out for it. Anyway, I thought it was a cute little subplot there, storyline there. I really liked it. Some of the things that I wrote down here that I thought were almost borderline too many Star Trek references that were scattered throughout this episode. I think Boimler actually used the phrase, they use hopped up like a Q on Captain Picard Day as an expression. Also, when Mariner thought that the girlfriend was a holodeck program and just kept saying like in program.
That's definitely a spin on Geordi and his holodeck girlfriend from Next Generation. So
we had some other say the other love interest of this woman's name was Jet, right? He's like, and he said something like, Jet is a Kirk Sunday with Trip Tucker sprinkles. That was two different references there. They also had this really, when Zach, actually, my partner Zach, laughed out loud when he heard this one. It's like, what if, like those sexy people in rompers that murder you when you step on the grass.
I didn't get that until I read it in your notes, and then I totally got it now. And the death penalty for stepping on some flowers for Wesley Crusher. Yeah.
And yet my other favorite parts was there's a part where Mariner was running down the hallway and like screaming for people to move, and there was no one actually in her way, but she just kept pushing people off to the side, like just to be overly dramatic. And at one point she like hit some random crew person and was just like, move, Jennifer. which I found for some reason hilarious. Also, she requested an emergency beam out authorization Mariner 8, and they like basically like, wait,
who is this?
Is that a fake code? It's like, who are you? So I thought it was funny. It was a cute little plot there. Obviously, the two women bonded, and Boimler, because he had passed out from hitting.
Well, you didn't
console.
mention two things. First, his girlfriend's name is Barb. I mean, what kind of, nobody's named Barb anymore. I don't think that's like a name that we use anymore. That's like a 1950s
but this isn't taking place
name.
in 2020. This is taking place in 2400 something. So maybe
True.
Barb has got a resurgence. I don't know.
Maybe so. And then the other thing is, Boimler, he is completely naked. On the little, when she beams over, they're like, he and his girlfriend are together on the platform. They're helping to, I don't know, maintain the force field around the moon that they're going to destroy or something. I'm not really sure. And he's completely naked, and Mariner gets there and she's like, what are you doing? And
I think this goes back to when you're thinking that maybe Mariner has feelings for Boimler. Was it that, or was it the parasite? Right, the parasite.
Well,
both women were acting exactly the same, right? Because his girlfriend Barb was like, "Look, I was suspicious of you because I didn't think you guys could be friends. So I thought you were a shapeshifter well, they made a reference to a Suliban, which is so random, and it was funny that they were just like, maybe she's a Suliban, which is a Star Trek Enterprise reference, which I found hilarious. But
well, I've thought for the entire first, now we're halfway through this season, I believe.
Yes.
And I've thought even starting with episode 1 that Mariner and Boimler may have something for each other. They're always at each other's throats, and I just think there's some like romantic tension going on.
We'll see. But I mean, I'd like to point out that they also in the first episode established that the captain and Mariner was the captain's daughter. They really didn't even come back to that until episode 4. So they're not in a hurry to like show all their cards here. They're keeping some things very close, right? It's like the one thing is that Mariner is the captain's daughter, but the other thing that hasn't even been brought up since episode 1 is Mariner is also the admiral's daughter. So
right.
It's kind of one of those. I was very happy with the C plot there, which is basically Tindy and Rutherford geeking out over the technology stuff. What did you think of that?
Well, the things that stand out in my mind, there are really only 2 things that stand out in my mind, and one of them is they had smells for the different ships that they thought, they were like, the different ships smell, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like buttered popcorn or something like that. It was like some weird thing. And they're like, oh, don't you love the smell of, whatever. But then the other thing was this particular tricorder, I think it was.
The T-88, yes.
The T-88. First of all, it made me think of the TI-88 or whatever, the Texas Instruments calculators that everybody had to have in high school. But the other thing is, would they really have technology on ships that is different, because they can just replicate, like once something has been designed.
Adam, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
It's a TV show and it's a cartoon.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
We don't know. Yeah, you theoretically you could replicate whatever.
Couldn't
but
they just walk, like get on their ship and go, oh, the TI-88's available now?
There would be there's some
button,
technical MacGuffin somewhere that means that they can't do it. I don't know. Just go with it, Adam. Just go with it. It was the T-88. I thought it was
stood out to me.
I thought it was funny. So what was happening there was the little commander on the other ship, or the officer on the other ship, was trying to get transferred to the Cerritos because he was so tired of like being in the action all the time, and like he just wanted to be on a small ship that didn't do anything. And his password, his password for his pad was Riker. So I thought that was funny. All in all, I think it was a good episode. It's been a very strong first half of the season. I'm liking this show a lot. I believe it has been picked up for season 2, if I'm not mistaken. I will have to dig around and see if I can find that article. If not, so. Adam, what did you think? What do you think so far of the season, and any other thoughts you want to talk about for this episode?
I like it for what it is. I'm enjoying the comedic, take on everything. I think I'm getting used to it. Like I said at the beginning, I have to get used to kind of this certain type of cartoon comedy that they're doing.
Yep.
But again, I'm enjoying it mainly for the references. But I as I'm getting to know the characters, and maybe I'm taking it too seriously, like you just said earlier. Like, wouldn't they have that on the other one? But anyway, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm enjoying it.
If you want to hear Adam and I get serious about other stupid things, make sure to check out our podcast, Mix Minus. You can find us at mix-podcast.com. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this episode and whether you think that it's really stupid that CBS did a copyright claim against us. So if you think that CBS is a bunch of big poopy heads, make sure you leave a comment down below. We appreciate all of them. Also, hit the thumbs up kind of a thing. I don't know, whatever the YouTube standard. You know the drill.
I don't know. Smash that like button or something.
Do the drill.
I don't know.
And we will talk to you next week.
Goodbye.